please unmute your microphones, and I'll count you down in 3, 2, 1. And we're live.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here, and thank you all at home for watching this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Before we get started, as always, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, so would everybody please rise. Councilman Lombardi, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just ask that we remain standing for a moment of silence to remember those men and women who are fighting overseas for us, that provide us with the blanket of freedom that we live under and benefit from each and every night. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Frank. Okay, once again, welcome everyone. For the record, all Town Board members are present with us this evening. So tonight we have a Town Board voting meeting, and then it's followed by two work session items that are on the agenda as well. Prior to the board coming out here for the public portion of the meeting, the Town Board met in executive session for 4 items. Councilman Lombardi and Councilwoman McDonough provided an update on CSEA contract negotiations. Mary Ann Maxwell and Ann Pasquarello met with the board on a personnel matter. Mike Simone, Highway Superintendent, had an item on the executive session agenda, which the board covered. And Councilman Borelli and Shannell discussed with the board the PBA negotiation update as well. So we had the 4 items on there prior to coming out here tonight. Today's date is Wednesday, July 1st, 2021. And with us is Ann Spofford, all the way down to my right. She's the town clerk. And all the way down to my left is Greg Fulchetti. He's our Carmel Town Council. So we have tonight, we have 16 voting resolutions, and as I stated, 2 work session agenda items. So we're going to start with the first item on the voting meeting is to accept Town Board minutes of June 9th, 16th, and 30th, 2021. I need a motion to accept those.
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, resolution number 1 is a resolution regarding Town of Carmel Police Retirement 2021 Voluntary Retirement Incentive Program. Councilman Shannell, would you read 1, please?
Wherefore, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, Town Board, has developed a voluntary retirement incentive program, known as the program, for the members of the Uniform Patrol Division of the Town of Carmel Police Department, known as Department, who are eligible to retire under a New York State retirement system plan offered by the town, and wherefore the program and requirements therefore are fully described in the general announcement to eligible employees, known as the general announcement, and the attachment thereto, and wherefore the Town of Carmel Police Benevolent Association, known as PBA, has agreed to the terms of the program and has executed a memorandum of agreement regarding same, known as an MOA. Now be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the Town Supervisor to take all necessary steps for the implementation and execution of the program, included but not limited to, on behalf of the town, 1, executing the MOA with the PBA, 2, signing any individual retirement agreement and general release, and 3, authorizing payments required under the program. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough and Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannell.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. So next resolution, number 2, is a resolution accepting an annual financial report of the town's independent auditor for fiscal year ending 2020. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 2?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby accepts the comprehensive financial independent audit report of the town's independent auditor, PKF O'Connor Davies, for fiscal year 2020, and hereby directs Town Clerk Ann Spofford to publish all notices required in connection herewith in the official newspapers of the town. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Shannell and Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannell.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Next resolution, number 3, is a resolution authorizing emergency expenditure of monies from the Carmel Sewer District Number 4 Repair Reserve Fund. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 3?
Whereas the Town of Carmel maintains a repair reserve fund for Carmel Sewer District Number 4, duly established pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 6D. And whereas in cases of emergency, monies in such repair reserve fund may be expended pursuant to resolution approved by not less than two-thirds of the members of the governing body. And whereas it is recommended by the Office of the Town Controller that monies in the repair reserve fund be used to pay the cost of emergency repairs within Carmel Sewer District Number 4. Now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Carmel Sewer District Number 4, hereby authorizes the appropriation of monies from Carmel Sewer District Number 4 Repair Reserve Fund not to exceed $47,850 for emergency repairs expenditures in 2021. And be it further resolved that not less than one half of these monies so expended be repaid in fiscal year 2022, and that the total amount of the monies so expended be repaid in full not later than the last day of fiscal year 2023. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Borelli. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shadel?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 4, is a resolution authorizing budget modifications May, June of 2021. Councilman Borelli, would you read 4?
Whereas the Town Comptroller, Mary Ann Maxwell, has reviewed the proposed budget modifications for the period ending June 30th, 2021 with the Town Board, which are detailed and explained on the attached budget revision schedule 2021/03. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes and ratifies the budget modifications/revisions for the period ending June 30th, 2021, as shown itemized on Schedule 2021/03, which is attached hereto, incorporated herein, and made a part hereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shadel?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried on that. Okay, next resolution, number 5, is a resolution authorizing requests for proposals for investment services, length of service award program, Mahopac Falls Fire Protection District and Mahopac Fire Protection District. Councilman Shannell, would you read 5?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes Town Controller Mary Ann Maxwell to circulate proposals for investment services for Fire Protection District length and service award programs for Mahopac Falls Fire Protection District and Mahopac Fire Protection District. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shadel?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Resolution 6 is a resolution authorizing award of contract cemetery maintenance services for R2021-004. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 6?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., authorizes the awards for the contract for Town of Carmel Cemetery Maintenance Services to Kiko's Landscaping, Carmel, New York, at annual cost of $13,975 per year 2022, $14,975 per year 2023, and $15,675 per year 2024. And be it further resolved that the Town Board shall have the exclusive option to extend said contract for years 2025 and 2026 at an annual cost of $15,675. And be it further resolved that upon presentation of insurance and bonds in form acceptable to Town Council, Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to sign any documentation necessary to effectuate said contract extension renewal on the terms authorized herein on behalf of the Town of Carmel. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Shannell. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shadel?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Next resolution, number 7, resolution rejecting bids and authorizing re-advertisement for bids, Carmel Water District Number 9, tank building and concrete repairs, contract C-269-221, 2021. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 7?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Carmel Water District Number 9, and pursuant to the request of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., hereby rejects all bids previously received for Carmel Water District Number 9 water tank building and concrete repair contract number C269-2021. And be it further resolved, the town clerk Ann Spofford is hereby authorized to re-advertise for bids for said contract. And be it further resolved, the town engineer is hereby to furnish detailed specifications for the above to the town clerk to be used in conjunction with the town's general bid condition and specification. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Borelli. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channel.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 8, is a resolution advertised for bids for network access control systems, Town of Carmel Police Department. Councilman Borelli, would you read 8?
Resolved that pursuant to the request of Lieutenant John Dearman, Jr., the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes Town Clerk Ann Spofford to advertise for bids for installation of network access control systems in the Town of Carmel Police Department and Town Hall. And be it further resolved that Lieutenant John R. Dearman and Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti are to furnish detailed specifications for the above to the Town Clerk to be used in conjunction with the town's general bid conditions and specifications. We offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channel.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 9, is a resolution accepting a proposal pursuant to property maintenance law. Councilman Shannon, would you read 9, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Director of Codes Enforcement, Michael Carnazza, hereby accepts the proposal of Kiko's Landscaping, Carmel, New York, for the cleanup and correction of town code violations existing for the property located at 105 Longdale Road, Town of Carmel, tax map number 65.14-1-24, in an amount not to exceed $135.48. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channel.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 10, is a resolution in support of application to the New York State Affordable Housing Corporation, Putnam County Housing Corporation. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 10?
Sure. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel has been advised by Deanie McKay, Deputy Director of the Putnam County Housing Corporation, that PCHC is in the process of applying for a $200,000 home improvement grant from the New York State Affordable Housing Corporation. And whereas the purpose of said grant and application is to assist Putnam County homeowners in making necessary improvements to their homes to bring structures into compliance with all applicable laws and regulations, including but not limited to the installation, replacement of repair of a heating, plumbing, electrical, and related systems, and the elimination of all hazardous violations within residential homes in accordance with all applicable laws, rules, and regulations. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel offers this resolution and hereby states its support of the aforesaid application by PCHC to the New York State Affordable Housing Corporation, and further supports the purposes, intent, and objectives in improving the condition of residential housing within the County of Putnam. I offer this resolution as read.
Offered by Councilwoman McDonough, who seconded? Seconded by Shannell. Councilman Shannell, roll call vote.
Councilman Channel.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 11, is a resolution authorizing additions and deletions to the active list of the Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 11?
Resolve the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the addition of the following names to the active list of Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department. Sarango N. Corpona of Mahopac, New York, said, and further resolved, Greg, that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the deletion of the following name to the from the active list of the Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department, Jessica Hart. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Councilman Lombardi, for the record, I did ask Counselor to change that. I told him it was a typo.
That's what happened.
I was like, wait, what?
Huh?
It's okay. I
Who
saw it.
seconded that?
I saw
Mike,
it.
did you second it?
I'm sorry, I did.
He did, okay. Councilman Borelli seconded it. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi. Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. All right, next resolution, number 12, is a resolution adopting an application form for sound amplification permit, Town Code, Chapter 104. Councilman Borelli, would you read 12?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby adopts the application form for issuance of a sound amplification permit pursuant to Chapter 104 of the Town Code of the Town of Carmel. Such application to be informed as attached hereto, and be it further resolved that Town Clerk Ann Spofford is hereby authorized to utilize said form on all applications submitted pursuant to Town Code Chapter 104. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, Resolution 13 is a resolution amending the 2021 user fee schedule. Councilman Shannon, would you read 13?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby amends, effective immediately, the Town of Carmel user fee schedule for fiscal year 2021 as follows. Sound amplification permit commercial, $100 per day. Sound amplification permit for residential, $50 per day. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Second by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 14, is a resolution waiving the notice requirement for the New York State Alcohol Beverage Control Law with respect to a liquor license for Putnam County, Putnam Family House, Inc. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 14?
Sure, whereas the representatives and/or proprietors of Putnam Family House, Inc., DBA Putnam House, 983 Route 6, Mahopac, New York, 10541, have advised of the intention to apply for an on-premises liquor license for which 30 days advance notice of such application must be sent to the municipality. And whereas the notice required by Article 5 of the Alcohol and Beverage Control Law may be waived by the Town Board. And whereas the Town of Carmel Town Board does not intend to comment upon the application referred to herein. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby waives the 30-day notice requirement contained in Article 5 of the Alcoholic and Beverage Control Law and states that it does not intend to offer any comments regarding said application for a liquor license at the premises referred to herein. And be further resolved, the Town Clerk, Ann Spofford, is hereby authorized to sign a waiver of said notice on behalf of the Town of Carmel. I offer this resolution as read.
Second. Second.
Second it? Okay. Just one thing, Greg. It should be alcohol and
Not
beverage, not alcoholic.
Right, alcohol.
Yeah.
All right.
Come on, Greg.
Come on, Greg. This is. All right, so board, just drop the lick, it's just alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay,
I knew, but I read what was there.
all right. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried, thank you. All right, next resolution, number 15, is a resolution authorizing Daughters of the American Revolution insignia flag holders for Gilead Cemetery. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 15?
Sure. Resolve the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the placement of Daughters of the American Revolution flag holders at Gilead Cemetery in accordance with the request of Carol Bailey of Enoch Crosby Chapter of the National Society of Daughters of the American Revolution, dated June 27, 2021. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Second by Councilman Shannon, roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. This is very nice of the Daughters of the American Revolution for these insignia flag holders at Gilead. It's really wonderful that they're doing that. So, and that's a very nice cemetery. The fact that they're volunteering to do this is, it's really fantastic. It's wonderful. Okay, next resolution, number 16, is a resolution order calling for a public hearing in the matter of the increase and improvement of the facilities of Carmel Water Districts number 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10, 13, and 14 in the town of Carmel, Putnam County, New York. Additional cost, August 11, 2021. Councilman Borelli, whatever I didn't read as part of this, can you read that?
Am I able to summarize it and you can adopt it?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So this is an order calling a public hearing for the tank projects in waters 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10, 13, and 14. We had put those jobs out to bid. There was some previous borrowing that was authorized, and now each district has additional borrowing that's necessary. And this sets a public hearing on August 11th at 7:30 for additional borrowing as follows. With respect to Carmel Water District Number 1, the additional borrowing is $27,600 over the prior. Carmel District Number 2, it's $300,000 over the prior. Carmel District Number 3, $80,000 over the prior. Carmel District, Water District 8, $175,500 over the prior. Carmel Water District 9, $125,000 over the prior. Carmel District, Water District 10, $58,500 over the prior. Water District 13, $38,400 over the prior. And Water District 14, $138,000 over the prior. These are based on the low bids received for the projects when it was put out to bid. And I would just, if Councilman Borelli wants to offer it as stated and pre-filed, with the amendment that the last whereas has all 8 districts, 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10, 13, and 14. He can offer it as summarized and pre-filed.
Second.
You offer this resolution as summarized and pre-filed.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilman Borelli, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Stratt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, so that completes the voting agenda items for tonight's town board meeting. Why don't we just open up the floor at this time to any members of the public that would like to come up for 3 minutes on agenda items only? Come on up at this time. Okay, John?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. John Butler, Hamlet of Carmel, specifically CWT2, and specifically the Kelly Ridge neighborhood that's serviced by the Everett Road storage tank. So by your passing of item number 16, you have in effect delayed the replacement of the water storage tank on Everett Road yet again. How long that delay will last, we don't know. There's absolutely no way of knowing. There's been no accurate reporting of that. And I want to, for the purposes of the public primarily, to recap the history of this matter, and that is specifically the Everett Road water storage tank that provides water storage for hundreds of households throughout Carmel Water District Number 2. I personally, because I have a lot of spare time on my hands, have been talking about this, to the best of my understanding and recollection, looking at meeting agendas and minutes, starting somewhere around October of 2011. I believe that's about 10 years ago. What are we talking about, folks, for the people that are tuning in? Talking about a 300,000 gallon capacity water storage tank that was built in 1976, 45 years ago. Interestingly, during my research, I found that tanks of this nature actually have a lifespan of 75 to 100 years, if properly maintained. Very important, if properly maintained. The initial recommendation when the latest inspection of this tank, amongst others, was made back in 2019 by Pitt Tank Services or whatever, is that, oh, the tank is structurally sound, and they made various recommendations as it needed to be corrected and rehabilitated. Amongst those recommendations, very importantly, were ones that were highlighted in red, and in fact were noted as emergency issues that needed to be addressed immediately. Again, a reminder, this was in March of 2019. You can do the math, 2.5 years ago, emergency. And they included replace the vent on the top of the tank to prevent contamination of the water being stored, number one, and also to make sure that there's no buckling of the tank due to pressure variations. Well, what does that mean? That means the tank can collapse. And people say, oh, that's never going to happen. I would refer you to an incident in Wilmington, Massachusetts in 2012, where a tank of exactly the same type and nature collapsed, releasing 300,000 gallons of water in a residential neighborhood. And imagine what that would be like on the top of Everett Road. In addition to that, the recommendation on an emergency basis, emergency meaning do it now in March of 2019, was to clean the inside of that tank, again to prevent contamination to the water supply that's being provided to these hundreds of households in that Kelly Ridge area. And finally, an exterior painting to prevent additional corrosion of the tank for the same purposes as before. To the best of my knowledge and belief, none of this was done. One last time, March of 2019. Then we start to talk about the various projects that were necessary for distribution and including the replacement of this tank. Those discussions formally in the town board began in January of 2018. There was a meeting in the hamlet of Carmel. There was a discussion with the town board. The public was invited and comments were made. And it was agreed that there were definitely things that needed to be done. And there was essentially an agreement that, the town was going to fund, I think at that point, something to the amount of $2.5 million for the replacement of the pipes and the tanks, et cetera. That was the beginning. Then the big meeting, as you all may recall, was in April of 2019. Carmel High School, big presentation, 100 people attended, and it was agreed at that time that the work in Carmel Water District Number 2 was required, and the board agreed at that time, we're going to fund it. Great, everyone was happy. Let's go forward. At that time, a report was provided during that town board meeting by the town's water consultant, and in specific reference to the Everett Road tank, it was stated that in the report, with reference to the vendor Pittsburgh tank, that the Everett Road tank could be rehabilitated, renovated, and fixed. Cool. Sometime in November thereafter of 2019, 6-7 months later, the town retained the services of engineers Weston and Sampson. Weston and Sampson reviewed the matter of the Everett Road tank and concluded by saying, there is no possibility in the universe that we exist in that this tank can be rehabilitated, renovated, and repaired. It must be replaced. I'm fascinated by the fact that there could be such an incredible disconnect between one report and the report of the engineers. Ultimately, their recommendation, of course, was accepted. The tank must be replaced. As a quick aside, I think, just to mention, I can't remember exactly, but I remember Supervisor Schmidt saying years prior to that, there is no way this can be rehabbed and renovated. It's got to be replaced. So good on you.
That is accurate, yes.
I know. I remember these things. So anyway, going forward, okay, we now know as at November of 2019, the April report was inaccurate and incorrect, and in fact, the tank needs to be replaced. It's going to cost a heck of a lot more money. So come June of 2020, at that particular time, additional funds for the replacement of the tank was agreed by the town board. Yes, we accept that. It must be replaced. It's going to cost more money, and we agreed to fund that. In August of 2020, and now we're just about a year ago, folks, just to keep it in context, there was a bond resolution passed that agreed that the town would provide bonding and funding for the higher cost of the replacement of the tank. $2.6 million, something like that. I don't have the exact number. Okay, we're making progress. We're going forward. August of 2020. Here's where the time gap arises, at least based on the information available to the general public, including myself. So as I just said, in August of 2020, the bond resolution was passed. We got the money. We're going to get the money. We got it. Go. The bids for the replacement of the tank were opened in June 30th, according to the last meeting on July 14th, and the testimony or the presentation of the town engineer. The bids for the replacement of the tank were opened on June 30th, 2021. 10 months later. 10 months between funding, bids. I don't get that. But okay, let's go forward. So, in the beginning of May of this year, there was put onto the town website a timeline for a whole bunch of projects, having to do with the pipes, et cetera, and the replacement of the tank. So that was issued and put on the town website in May of 2021, a couple of months ago. And that reported that construction of the replacement tank was to begin on or about the end of July, a couple of weeks from now, or a week from now, or the beginning of August of 2021. And I'm sitting there going, well, it's going to happen. We walk up there all the time with the doggies, and I'm like, well, this is going to be some project, because I don't see nothing here happening anywhere. And then, of course, at last week's meeting, it was announced that we are underfunded for various projects, for various water districts throughout the town. And we're going to go back for additional bonds to fill up that underfunding. But we're not underfunded for Carmel Water District Number 2. We can do it. We have the money to do what's needed in Carmel Water District Number 2, and specifically, we are funded to replace this tank. But we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it because we want to put one contract in place with one contractor, and we're not properly funded because we underestimated the bonds necessary to do the work in other districts. And we want to have one contract. So guess what, folks? This tank is not going to be replaced for at least another 6 months, probably a year. But I mean, when you look at it all in context, maybe another 2 years from now or 3 years from now. Or why even do it? If it's not important to do it quickly, then why even do it at all? Here's why it's important to do. I can't have a glass of water in my hand and give it to my grandchildren because of the crap that's in the water that's coming from that tank. So it's not important. Everything gets caught up in contracts and this and that. When the time comes to give people's raises, that goes quickly. When the time comes to give sweetheart agreements to contractors, that goes quickly. But when it comes to giving healthy, clean water to the residents of this town, and specifically in the Kelly Ridge neighborhood, for which we pay over $1,000 a year for dirty water, oh, we can push that away. It doesn't matter. And you know why it doesn't matter? Because there's no accountability. Nothing happens here. It just happens. There's no accountability. No one gets fired. No one gets sued. No one gets fined. It just happens. And nothing in our lives are like that anywhere else. And so that's the reality, folks, looking in on the TV, because I know they are, and there's no accountability. You guys just passed a resolution that said, it's okay, go ahead, we're fine with that. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Is there anyone else that is here for the agenda items that we just covered this evening? If there is, come on up at this time. Okay, I'm going to open up the floor to new business. This is the open forum portion of the voting meeting. Is there anyone would like to come up during the open forum portion of the meeting? Come on up.
Good evening. My name is Ron Klein. I live at 105 Drewville Road. I've lived there since 1982. The road behind my house is Crafts Road. And last Saturday, a tree fell down and caught fire on electric pole. I'm sure everybody here knows about it. And a 210-year-old barn caught fire and is destroyed. It is not my barn, it is my neighbor's barn. I live right next door to them. For the last 3 years, I've been contacting the Town of Carmel Highway Department, New York State Electric and Gas. The trees on Crafts Road are extremely, extremely dangerous. I've lived there for 39 years. I've never seen anything like what's been happening the last 4 or 5 years. New York State Electric and Gas told me yesterday they had an arborist come and deemed that the trees are safe. I beg to differ with them. I just lost about $8,000 worth of equipment in my house. My service pole was knocked down by trees, hitting the poles, knocking the wires down, knocking my service panel down, and sending thousands of volts through my house. I have a full house surge protector. I have individual surge protectors on my outlets. It blew through everything. TVs, computer, washing machine dryer, stove, dishwasher, fried. Something has to be done. I've contacted the Town of Carmel. I've contacted New York State Electric and Gas. We need to do something. Those poles and wires feed Putnam Hospital. Every time we get hit, a little bit of rain, a little bit of wind, the poles go down because of trees. This was a 75-foot tree. It's in the Putnam Courier. I'm not making any of this up. I've never come before the board before. 39 years I've lived in this town. Something needs to be done. Have those trees trimmed back. I have one tree over the wires that's just ready to go down on the other, it's not on my property. It's on the other side of Crafts Road, which is behind my house. Everybody says the tree is alive, nothing's going to happen. Right.
Sir, I'm sorry, what's your physical address of your house?
105 Drewville Road.
Okay.
But the road behind my house, it's up, I live right against the bike path.
You're on Craft Road or Drewville?
No,
I'm on Drewville Road.
Okay.
The back end of my property is on Crafts Road.
Okay, all right.
This is a serious issue, not only because I get wiped out all the time, my neighbors get wiped out all the time, but it affects Putnam Hospital. I know they have a generator. I know they reroute the electricity to the hospital, but it's got to stop. This is 4 years now. I lost a well. I lost low voltage controls on my heating unit last year, radios, TVs, constantly. And it's not just me. My neighbor up on the hill, I won't mention his and her name, that owned the barn, everybody knows who he is and who she is. She works in Putnam Hospital. Something needs to be done. I need to have somebody, the town, New York State Electric and Gas, cut trees.
Who did you speak with, or when did you contact New York State Electric and Gas?
Yesterday.
So after the tree came down on Saturday, you...
Yes,
And
yes,
do you
sir.
have the gentleman's name you spoke to?
It was a woman. No, I don't.
What, it was an arborist that you spoke to?
She said that they had an arborist come in October of 2020 and deem all the trees being safe. Obviously not.
Okay, I have the cell number of the arborist for NYSEG for the Brewster Division.
Okay.
I'll call him tomorrow. I will call him tomorrow.
Please.
I'll have a conversation with him. He's very good, and he's very responsive when I call him. And I'm going to ask him to come out and check the trees along Crafts Road and Drewville Road. Just,
I'm retired.
Yeah.
I'm retired from New York City Department of Corrections. I'm home. If you need me for any reason to go with anybody, I walked with the tree trimming crew. They said they can only take down dead branches. Really?
the highway department tree trimming crew?
Yes.
For Carmel Highway?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they can only take down dead branches. Really? I mean, the
No.
roots, anytime we get a big rainstorm, trees are going to fall.
Before, yeah,
They've taken trees down.
They've
Yeah.
taken limbs down.
yeah,
They haven't taken trees down.
yeah.
That's the difference. You can take a limb down, and then the limb right next to that, I mean, we're not talking about little limbs. This was a 75-foot tree that fell, and it knocks down the transformers. They send a jolt through the lines. I had a pole, a Verizon pole, on the Drewville Road side of my property catch fire. The fire department came, they were working on the barn, which took a long time to get under control. And I begged them to do something with that pole because my trees were catching fire and the brush was starting to catch fire. They said that's not a priority at this time. After an hour and 15 minutes, another crew responded from somewhere and put that fire out. So, again, 39 years in this town, I've never complained about anything. We're extremely frustrated. And it's not just me. I'll walk with any of you and every one of you and knock on doors and you can speak to them. This is a serious issue that's happening.
Yeah, you know, over the years, Kenny, you remember, everybody remembers, I've had this argument with NYSEG for a long time when we've had storms in the past that knocked down, and I'm like, there's no reason why trees and branches should be knocking down wires to electricity in homes in our town. They need to come out when there is a downtime in their schedule and review and look at all these trees and limbs and branches, because it's not fair. I mean, that's not fair, but if you remember Christmas, right, this past Christmas, a large section of town was out. And Kenny and I remember we were on conference calls on Christmas Day asking, why should these people, I had people, for whatever reason, my development, now it should all be one electrical source, half of our development had power, half didn't. So I asked my neighbors, if you need a stove, please come to my house. I have power for whatever reason. It's just not right. And we've had this discussion. We've had these arguments. We've had letters sent to them, to heads of the companies, et cetera, and they just don't do anything about it until after the fact. And they need to be proactive in reviewing trees. You know what? Yeah, nobody likes to cut down a live tree, okay? But the reality is,
It's a safety issue.
100%.
It's a safety issue.
Sometimes these trees get overgrown, the branches get intertwined in the wires, and you know what? Let it be a NYSEG company executive not have Christmas at his house. Let him not have the barn next to your house. They need to. I don't know.
That's why.
I sympathize with you, but we've had, and this is not the first time that we've heard this. Unfortunately, we've been talking about this, and I got criticized by somebody who works for NYSEG who watched the meeting, called me the next day and said, "Oh, how could you do that?" I'm sorry.
Come talk to me.
Yeah,
Come talk to me wherever the camera is.
That person has since passed away. But
I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. I do.
They need to be more proactive in their tree management around the wires of their power sources to the town residents.
It's a matter of money. It's a matter of
Oh, I know it is.
cost.
I know.
It's a matter
Agreed.
of cost,
Right.
and they want to show as much profit as they can.
Agreed.
So I'm in front of the town board right now to ask you to use your power, your influence, to try to do something. Again, it is only the last 4 or 5 years that this has become serious issue. I mean, 20 years ago, I had a tree fall through my roof, and my children were sleeping in the house at the time. It was a tree on my property. It was my responsibility. I cut down all the trees on my property. You can come check my property. You can come look at it. I'm right abutting the rail trail on Drewville Road, on the Mayapack side. Somebody has to put pressure on them because it can't go on like this. Every time we have a little something as far as wind or rain or a couple of days of rain when the ground gets soft, the trees come down. It doesn't even have to be wind. It can be just a certain amount of water in the ground. And they need to allocate some, and I'm begging the board to put pressure on them, please, before somebody gets killed.
So Mr. Klein, we'll make a phone call to NICEC, and we'll come out and meet with you and the NICEC representative to walk through it.
Thank you.
And then this way, you know, they can explain to us and to you and the neighbors what they are seeing and their explanation, and then we can move on from there.
Thank you, and I can give you my phone number and everything.
Yeah, I won't
if you
ask for
want
it on air, but I'll get it.
Okay, right. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. All right.
But thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I can see it in your faces that you're concerned, all of you. I see it in your faces, I know. Because it could happen to you on your property, to your family, to your children, to your grandchildren, relatives. We don't want to see that happening.
Yeah.
God forbid.
And you're not the first one to complain. We've gotten numerous complaints of the same nature. The
I
trees,
normally don't
understand-
attend a meeting. We keep to ourselves.
Sure.
But at this point, what happened Saturday and what's happening constantly on Crafts Road, which I know it's personal, I know it goes on in other
no,
parts of the
that's-
town.
Well, we had a feeder line on Willow Road that one of the residents kept calling in. There was 4 or 5 splices in it already. They said there was dead branches there, they were going to fall, and sure enough, they fell and they wiped out all the hamlet.
My neighbor called 2 weeks ago about the tree that came down on
Yep.
Saturday.
Yep.
They came and cut a couple of limbs.
Yeah, they don't
And-
cut them all. I don't know why. They came to my house. I hadn't made a complaint. There was a wire on the line. They cut the tree, the branch that was on the line, and there's an inch from the line. They're like, no, we're not going to cut that one. It's not on the line.
I've taken enough of your time. Thank you
Well,
so
thank
much.
you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Mr.
sir.
Klein.
Thank you.
Mr. Klein. Thanks for being here.
Kenny,
Appreciate it.
it was on the agenda item. I just wanted to, it was in regards to the Everett Road tank, and I'm hoping maybe Greg can help out with this. From what I'm understanding, they went out for bid, and everything was in one bid, or
Original.
contract, the original. So we can't piecemeal it together, otherwise,
The low bidder for all districts was one contractor.
one contract.
Okay?
Right.
And it turns out that the low bids require you to authorize extra borrowing in every district, in all 8 of the districts. Okay,
Right,
so that's what you did tonight. It'll delay things probably 20 to 30 days.
right.
That's
Okay,
all
yeah,
done.
I just
At least
wanted to make
You
sure
have to
that,
pass that, you have to have the public hearing, and then after that, we'll authorize the borrowing. Okay.
yeah. So I
The
just
bidders
want-
are holding their bids open for 90 on the bid, and I believe the low bidder has agreed to hold it open for 120, an
For
additional 30
120.
days. So you
Right.
secure the pricing, and you do need to authorize the additional borrowing because you don't have it. You can't award the bids without the money in hand.
Right, and that's what I wanted people to understand. I mean, every single person up here would love to get that done, would love to get it done, and we don't want to see any delays. But unfortunately, because of the contracts, we can't. The other thing I just wanted to point out also is we just want to make sure that the people understand that the Everett Road tank is actually going to remain in service along with the new tank being in service, and that's going to be while the rehabilitation of the 2 remaining tanks. So it's not that the new Everett tank is going to come up and then the old one immediately comes down. That's going to stay in effect. And the last thing, which actually I think is wonderful news, is that statewide Aqua Store is internally starting the submittal for the Everett Road tank.
That's subcontractor.
The subcontract, yep. They've chosen to do that without the contract in place. So I think that I give kudos to them, thank you. And this can save 4 to 6 weeks on the schedule. So I want to thank statewide Aqua Store for doing that. So I just want to let the people in that district also know.
We're not trying to delay the project. at
Yeah,
all.
we're not trying to
We wanna
delay it.
try and get this moving
And, yeah, and
forward
I
as
want
quickly as
to,
possible.
yeah, and I want to
We want-
thank Rich for actually contacting them to see,
Right.
you know, can you do this? And they agreed to it. So it's possible that, you know, that they can save 4 to 6 weeks. Hopefully, it'll be the 6 weeks that they can save. So I
And-
just wanted to get out some more information that was given.
Once again, there was a small delay with COVID, and we don't know if there's going to be additional cost. It seems that everything's gone up 30 to 40%. Just with the additional cost, there's also the factor of getting the materials.
Yep.
And we were in the process of finding out that materials will, in fact, be available during this process. So hopefully, things will get done sooner than later, and I think it's been delayed way too long already. This should already been taken care of. But we're going to do what we can do to get it going. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Susie and Bob. Appreciate that additional information. So, is there anyone else here for open business due forum? We're going to have it again at the end of the work session, but if you want to come up now, James, come on up. Yeah. Yeah. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me. I'm James Comedy from the Hamlet of Carmel. I do empathize with my neighbor at Drewville Road, and I am glad that resolutions are being made to influence NICEC for a solution to the trees taking down above-ground wiring. I would like to offer an alternative solution as opposed to tree cutting, which is to have NICEC in our contract with them provide underground wiring for electrical services.
I talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about it.
We've
numerous
tried
talked
that
about that.
many
We
years
talked
ago,
about
and unfortunately, did no go. We can continue, but it, you know, yeah.
It ain't gonna
It
happen.
won't
not-
happen.
Yeah, I would love to see that. One, aesthetically, it looks so much nicer, and two, it's to
not
me, I
cost-
think it's
not
more
cost
safe.
effective.
But it's not cost
is not.
effective for NICEX, so they shut us down even before we finished our sentence, pretty much.
Will cost hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars
But we
to
can
do that.
revisit it.
They
No
won't
harm
do
in
it.
keep on asking.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. I might wonder if it's possible to get a provider besides NICEC in that area, then they don't seem to be the best company for negotiating. I wonder if Con Edison or others would be possible alternatives that could provide underground wiring and other solutions that we currently lack. If
It's not up to us to we don't contract with a particular power source. It's dictated to us by the state power authority. So we can't like negotiate with Con Ed to come in and do something. It's NICEC. We here in Putnam County have NICEC.
All
Down the
right.
block, in Somers, they have Con Ed.
Kinda.
You know, and when you go, I don't know, somewhere they have something else. It's not. We don't have a choice in that.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah.
I hope the county can make a better choice in the future then. Have a good night.
All right,
you. Have a good
Thank you,
night.
James. Okay, and I need a motion to close
So
the
moved.
voting meeting. So moved by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Now I need a motion to open the work session. So moved by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the work session is now open. I'll handle both Carmel Highway Superintendent Mike Simone's items that he has on the agenda. The first one is to consider request to authorize attendance to the New York State Association of Towns Superintendents of Highways Conference. The dates are September 28th to October 1st, 2021, and the cost is $1,337 for that. He breaks it down here in his cost estimate, $537 for 3-night stay, $179 for 3 nights total, $650 food package registration fee, $150 for estimated gas expenses. So these costs are included in this 2021 town highway budget. So this is something that the highway superintendent does every year. He learns a lot by attending these highway conferences. upstate, and he brings that information that he's learned back here to the town of Carmel. So it's very useful and beneficial to the town by having the superintendent attend these conferences. Is the board good with this?
Yes.
Good? Okay. All right. So the next item on the agenda is to consider request to authorize purchase of a backup transfer case. And his backup information that the board has, I am requesting authorization to purchase a backup transfer case from Dutchess County Truck Parts, LLC, per the attached written quotes. And he has 3 written quotes. Dutchess County Truck Parts is the lowest at $12,901, followed by Camerata Truck for $14,005, and Gabriella Truck Sales is $14,046.10. So the highway superintendent is requesting permission and authorization from the board to go out and purchase the backup transfer case for the Carmel Highway Department, and these are for the 2013 Kenworth trucks, the T37. If the board recalls, I believe we bought 6 of these trucks in 1 year, and he has these backup transfer cases at the highway garage. In the event, during a snow event or a snowstorm, one of these transfer cases should fail and go down and need to be replaced. He has it in stock at the highway department. Mike has done this in the past where he stocked these replacement parts, and I think it's a smart move having one on hand in the event one goes down.
Yeah.
He's got a backup one there at the highway garage. So he's done this in the past, and I believe he's replacing one that probably he had on as a backup was used in one of the trucks. So this is not uncommon that the highway department does this, and it's very smart move to be proactive and have this on hand. So board, you're good with this,
I'm good
right?
with it, yep.
Everybody? Okay. All right, so Greg, you'll have a resolution on the 4th for these? Okay. All right, so that concludes the work session for this evening. It was just 2 items. I don't believe there's any members of the public here that are going to want to comment on the 2 items that we just covered. James? No? Okay. And you're finished with open forum, right? New business? Okay, James. All right, good. All right, so that's it for tonight. We do not have executive session. We're going to close the meeting from here, and we're not meeting next Wednesday, the 28th. The planning board does have a meeting that night, and they will be using the meeting room for their meeting. The next time we will be meeting is on August 4th, and that'll be for a town board voting meeting.
I just have.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I just have two announcements, 3, really short. On behalf of my family, I want to thank everyone for their kindness and thoughtfulness in the passing of my dad last week. Dad has been only here since 2010, but this community made him feel like one of their own, and he loved it here. And the showing of love and support for him and my mom and my family will never go unnoticed. So thank you for that. Secondly, a resident in our town who is super active in lots of things and lots of great things. Her house, she was at our wake, and after she went home, her house burned down. So asking for, thankfully, no one was hurt. But there is a GoFundMe to help Marianne Chaluzian and her family. So the GoFundMe is out there. You can find it herself. And not surprisingly, she will be attending tomorrow. She told me today. She's not missing it. The Carmel Police Department, along with the Putnam County Sheriff's Department. This is an organization. This is a group that she and some others put together. The Blue Support the Blue. This is a free ice cream cone with the police officer at Quality Ice Cream. So go visit our friend VJ at 939 South Lake Boulevard tomorrow from 3 to 5. While supplies last, there'll also be a police badge given to children. So if you're able to attend tomorrow, bring your children to see the police officers from the Putnam County Sheriff's Department as well as with our department, and get a free ice cream. It's going to be a nice day, so it's definitely an ice cream day.
Okay, and I believe Officer Kreco and Officer Molcom will be there representing the Carmel Police Department.
Great.
At that event. Yep, exactly. Great event. Bring your families. Good night. So I need a motion to close the meeting.
Can I have 1 minute just to read a letter that we
I'm
received?
sorry, Bob. Yeah.
I'd just like to read a letter that we received from the principal of the Carmel High School, Laura Santa Barbara. Back in, I guess, the end of May, June, they had a picnic for the seniors up at Kamada Park, so she was appreciative that we were able to, give them the park for the day and the recreation. So I just want to read a letter that she had written. On behalf of the Carmel High School, I would like to personally thank you for your generosity and kindness that you have shown the class of 2021. We are so supportive that we are so appreciative that you provided our students with the use of the park facilities and grounds. Our seniors had a wonderful time, and we're thankful that they could be together one last time before they graduated. With the help of the Carmel Recreation Department, our parents were able to volunteer their time and create a wonderful place to celebrate our seniors. You showed us what it means to truly be a community that cares and one that advocates and celebrates its accomplishments. Thank you again, Laura Santa Barbara. I just wanted to thank her for the, for reaching out to us in the letter. It's very kind, and also
Very
welcoming her
nice.
to the Carmel High School. I knew she's new here, and I wish her all the best of luck and success. It was a great event. I didn't have the chance to stop up there. I believe Councilman Lombardi stopped there also. The kids had a great time, and the Carmel Recreation did a fantastic job. Thank you all. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Bob, for that. Okay, does anybody else have any other announcements? Okay, with that, I need a motion to close. So moved by Councilwoman McDonough. Seconded by Councilman Shannon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Be well. We'll see you back here on August 4th for Town Board voting meeting.